There are times in life when everything that once made you feel alive suddenly loses its color. The things you used to enjoy no longer excite you. The people you loved being around no longer bring you warmth, and even the goals you once chased feel meaningless. This strange emptiness that creeps into your soul often comes quietly, without warning. It starts with a subtle disinterest, a simple, "I don't feel like it today," that slowly becomes a constant state of being. You wake up, but you don't feel awake. You move through your day, but it feels mechanical. This experience, although deeply unsettling, is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It's a powerful message from your inner self, a sign that something within you is calling for attention, transformation, and healing. Losing interest in everything is not simply about boredom. It's your soul's way of signaling that you've been disconnected from your purpose. The modern world constantly pushes people to chase external rewards, money, recognition, social approval, comfort. But the human spirit is not sustained by these alone. When life becomes centered around expectations and achievements, rather than meaning and connection, you slowly drift away from what makes you truly feel alive. Your interests, passions, and enthusiasm begin to fade because they're no longer being nourished by authenticity. It's like watering artificial flowers. They might look fine on the surface, but there's no real life in them. Your mind and heart crave something deeper, something that feels genuine. This disconnection often happens when you've been running on autopilot for too long. You go through routines, meet deadlines, and fulfill roles. Student, parent, partner, employee, but somewhere along the way, you lose sight of who you are beyond those labels. You forget your essence. Losing interest in life becomes the moment your true self begins to whisper, trying to remind you that you've been living a life that doesn't fully belong to you. It's not that life lost its beauty, it's that you lost your connection to it. That inner spark that once drove you to explore, create, and feel deeply has been buried under layers of fatigue, expectation, and emotional neglect. Sometimes this loss of interest comes from exhaustion, physical, mental, or emotional. When you've been pushing yourself too hard, constantly giving without refilling your own cup, burnout takes over. The mind begins to shut down enthusiasm as a form of protection. It says, "You've been carrying too much for too long. It's time to stop." In this way, apathy becomes a form of survival. It forces you to pause, to confront the emptiness that's been building beneath your surface. Yet most people misinterpret this as failure. They think, something's wrong with me because I don't care anymore. But in truth, it's your body and spirit saying, you can't continue this way. You need to realign. This loss of interest is also a sign of spiritual transition. Every soul goes through seasons, periods of expansion and periods of withdrawal. When everything starts to lose its meaning, it often means you're outgrowing an old version of yourself. You are shedding beliefs, values, or attachments that once defined you. It's uncomfortable because your identity begins to dissolve. You no longer relate to the same hobbies, people, or dreams that once felt essential. This isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough in disguise. The emptiness you feel is space being made for something new. It's a sacred silence before rebirth. It's the quiet before your next evolution. In such moments, most people try to force themselves to feel better. They chase distractions, watch endless videos, scroll social media, or throw themselves into work to fill the void. But that never works because the void isn't meant to be filled, it's meant to be felt. The numbness is a message, not an error. The more you suppress it, the louder it becomes. The only way out is through. You have to sit with it, listen to it, and ask yourself what it's trying to tell you. Often it reveals truths you've been avoiding. The job that no longer fulfills you, the relationship that drains your energy, the dreams that were never truly yours to begin with. When you face these truths, you start to reclaim your connection to life. Losing interest in everything is also a mirror reflecting your relationship with yourself. When was the last time you truly checked in with your inner world? When was the last time you did something simply because it made your soul feel light? Many people live in a constant state of doing, producing, achieving, but rarely being. They neglect their inner child, that curious, creative part of themselves that once saw wonder in the smallest things. When you ignore that part of yourself for too long, life loses its flavor. Reconnecting with joy requires permission to slow down, to be gentle with yourself, and to rediscover what genuinely resonates with your heart. Another hidden reason for losing interest in life is unresolved emotional pain. When grief, disappointment, or trauma are buried instead of healed, they consume emotional energy from within. You begin to feel drained, detached, and indifferent. Your brain tries to protect you from further hurt by numbing your emotions altogether. Unfortunately, when you numb pain, you also numb joy. Everything becomes muted. The way to recover is not by forcing happiness, but by allowing yourself to feel what's been suppressed. Cry if you need to, rest if you must, but let the emotions move through you instead of keeping them trapped. Healing is the only true path to renewed passion. You might also be losing interest because your environment doesn't nourish your growth. Humans are deeply influenced by the energy around them. If you spend your days surrounded by negativity, routine, or people who don't inspire you, your spirit begins to wilt. Growth requires stimulation, new ideas, new challenges, new perspectives. Sometimes your disinterest is not a lack of motivation, but a sign that your environment has become too small for your soul. You're meant to explore, to evolve, to experience life beyond the same walls. Change your surroundings, and often your inner world begins to awaken again. At its core, losing interest in everything is not the end of something beautiful, but the beginning of rediscovery. It's the void that precedes transformation. The pain of apathy is like the darkness before dawn. It feels endless, but it's temporary. This phase invites you to rebuild your life on a foundation of authenticity. It asks you to question what truly matters, what gives your existence meaning beyond survival. When you begin to realign with what feels truthful to your soul, small sparks of interest begin to return. Maybe it's a walk in nature, a conversation that stirs something inside you, or a moment of stillness that brings unexpected peace. These are signs of reawakening. The journey back to feeling alive again doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, gentle process of reconnection. You must give yourself space to breathe, to rest, to rediscover curiosity. Let go of the pressure to have everything figured out. Instead, learn to find wonder in simplicity. Watch the sunrise, listen to music that moves you, create something small just for the joy of it. Each of these small acts reignites the energy that once felt lost. Passion is not something you chase. It's something you nurture by being present. Another important truth is that losing interest in life often means you are evolving beyond shallow forms of happiness. The things that once distracted you, pleasures, routines, possessions, no longer satisfy you because your soul craves depth. You're being called to seek fulfillment that lasts, to align with purpose, to create meaning rather than consume it. This is the sign of spiritual maturity. You're waking up from the illusion that happiness is found outside of you. True interest in life returns when you start living from within, guided by what feels real and aligned. During this transformation, it's essential to practice compassion toward yourself. Don't shame yourself for feeling lost or disconnected. Everyone experiences these phases, even the most successful or spiritual people. They are part of the human journey. The key is to view this not as a collapse, but as a cleansing. You're shedding the layers of your old life that no longer fit your current vibration. Let the process unfold naturally. The more you resist, the more painful it feels. Acceptance is the bridge between emptiness and renewal. If you look deeply, you'll realize that the loss of interest is not about losing life's meaning. It's about being invited to create new meaning. You're being asked to redefine what truly matters to you. Maybe it's time to start something new, learn a skill, travel, connect with people who inspire you, or spend time in solitude to rediscover your inner voice. Life is not static. It constantly evolves, and so do you. What once fulfilled you might not anymore, and that's okay. It means you're growing. You're being guided to the next chapter of your evolution. One day, without warning, you'll notice a small shift. You'll wake up and feel a faint curiosity again. You'll look at the world with softer eyes, noticing details you once overlooked. You'll laugh genuinely at something small, and for the first time in a long while, you'll feel that spark of life again. That's how healing works, not in grand moments, but in quiet returns of feeling. You realize that losing interest was never a punishment. It was an awakening. It was your soul's way of asking you to stop chasing what doesn't matter and start remembering who you are.